Hey everyone, it's Connor. I'm an iOS developer, and in this video, I'm walking you through everything that I learned from building an iOS app in 1 week. I've been working on a video series of building an iOS app in 14 days with AI. The point of this series is I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could just stay hands off from the code, even though I am an experienced developer, and see how far AI could get me building a native iOS app. And it's gone pretty good. We built a journal app that has AI features in it. It has voice recording, transcription, and it has a paywall set up now and a full onboarding. It's pretty much ready for the App Store. I wanted to pause in that series just for one day to talk about everything I learned from building in just 1 week. So I think there's a lot we can reflect on. The first thing that I learned is how important it is to establish a clear vision from the start. When you have a well-defined direction, that it provides a really strong foundation for your app, and so guiding decisions and preventing aimless pivots throughout your building process. When you have a very clear vision from the start, your efforts are really well prioritized. Your app solves a specific problem without getting bogged down in endless details and endless features. And then when you start clear, even if it's not perfect, it builds momentum and reduces overwhelm as you iterate, right? You're not going to have everything figured out from the start, but you have an idea in your head of a problem that you want to solve, and you should get as clear about that as possible. What is the simplest way to solve your problem? What's necessary, right? Because there's obviously lots of ways to build more features, endless amounts of things you can do. But if you're extremely clear about what you want from the start, how you want it to feel and function, and how you want it to look, this is going to help the process go so much smoother and faster when you are trying to build with AI. The next thing that I learned is how important it is to focus on a minimal set of simple features and make sure you have a magic moment in your app. So you want to limit your features. It keeps the project manageable, allowing you to build faster, and it's easier for testing, especially if you're a beginner to building apps with AI, right? You don't want it to be super complicated and fall down endless rabbit holes of debugging and trying to fix problems with AI, and then your project doesn't get finished. If you focus on simplicity, this ensures that you have reliability and user friendliness, and you avoid the complexity that could lead to bugs or abandonment, right? When users download your app for the first time, you want to provide them with this magic moment and realize, oh, this is a really simple way to solve my problem. That's the goal, and that's what's going to keep users coming back to your app and paying for your app over time. You want to find a magic moment in your simple set of features, the wow factor of your app that creates early engagement, motivating both you and your potential users, right? So in the Whisper app that we created, we had a onboarding that kind of gives you that wow moment of walking the user through exactly how to record a journal entry with the app, how AI helps them with that journal entry and tracks their mood. And then we show them the paywall. And that's like a wow moment. You're like, oh, this is really easy. It's super simple. And this is going to let me build the habit of journaling over time. Because if you download the journaling app, it's probably because you want to be doing it regularly, right? So focus on how you can find a wow moment with your simple set of features. You can use AI for this, right? Tell it everything about your idea, what problem you're trying to solve, and say, hey, I want to build this quickly. So help me define a simple set of features that I can use for the first version of this. Help me find a magic moment or the wow factor of this so that I can give users the confidence and trust they need in my app to pay for it and to keep coming to it. The next thing is how important it is to invest more time in crafting effective prompts, right? You don't want to just say, build me an app that's a note taker. It could probably do it fine, but it doesn't have a well-defined scope. It doesn't have well-defined expectations of what you want. And it could build for forever. If you're using something like Claude 4.5, then that has the potential of being able to build for 30 hours straight, right? But also it may not even be the app you want after all that time. So be very thoughtful about your prompting. It yields much higher quality AI outputs, and it saves you time on revisions and debugging later. If you break things down step by step, if you're very clear about what you want in each step, then your output is going to be much higher quality. This helps sharpen your understanding of the app's needs and turns your vague ideas into precise functional code, right? Because if you can't be very precise and clear about what you want and telling that to AI, then you probably don't understand your idea very well, or you probably skip step one or the first learning of this. So that's also why it's important to get clear, is because if you're very clear about your idea, you can be very clear about your prompts, and your app is going to be a lot better for it, because the outputs from your AI coding assistant are going to be much higher quality. So these better prompts also help foster creativity and efficiency, which makes AI a true collaborator rather than just guesswork, right? So if you're not clear, say, hey, I want to build a feature that does this, this, and this, and you should have AI ask you questions to fill an understanding gap. So there's no guesswork. Say, I don't want you to guess. I want you to ask me everything. And then it's going to ask you a bunch of questions that you may have not thought about, but then you can come up with an answer for your app. So if you're saying, hey, build me a journal app, it's going to ask you, what features do you want? How do you want this to look? Like, how do you want things to function? And these are all the questions that you should have answered before you start, for the most part. AI can help you each step of the way, as long as you're spending extra time with it, working with prompts and getting clear about what you expect to happen as soon as you hit enter on your prompt. The fourth thing that I learned is how important it is to conduct testing at every stage. Think about this, right? You're here at level 1, you're at your starting point, and you're building feature and feature and feature. And if you're not testing your app, trying out each feature as you work, then there might be some red flags, there might be some errors through the road, and some work and some don't. And then once you get to the finish line and someone downloads your app and it crashes or it doesn't work, it's because you didn't test it. You didn't catch these bugs early enough. So early testing is really beneficial because it catches issues before they compound, leading to a more stable and polished final product. It also builds confidence in your progress, and it allows for real-time adjustments based on actual functionality, right? So if you have it build just the journal entry feature, as we did in our app, and you can test that, you see that it works, it's really motivating, it's really exciting, especially if you're first time. But even me, I've been doing this for 5 years, and it's still just as exciting that, okay, build something that works, or I had AI build me something that works, but it's my idea and it's real. And you'll also catch things that you realize you like or don't like about this. What I advise for this part to help you stay focused and be able to build quickly is you should make a note of everything you want to change or don't like. So if you don't love the way something looks or the way something functions, or it's missing something, make a running list of these things. And then when the core of your app is built, go back and polish all of those things, and then you'll have a much better product for it. But you're also not going to fall down rabbit holes of endless refinements and improvements. The other thing that this is beneficial for is that regular checks ensure that the app aligns with your vision, reducing the risk of major rewrites down the line. So if it builds a feature and you're not liking it, you'll know whether or not you like how it works. That way you can make decisions going forward instead of having to basically write an entire new app if you're not testing through each stage. Make sure you're trying everything. Make sure you're writing down all the polish and things that you want so that you can improve your product without letting your timeline slip too far. The other nice thing about building with AI is you can do it with just 1 to 2 hours a day and make meaningful progress. You can commit just 1 to 2 hours a day for consistent progress. And if you do this like regularly and don't skip days, you have a carved out time for just an hour or two, you're going to make so much progress with your app, with your idea, and towards your ultimate goals. So I found that short daily sessions create sustainable habits that accumulate into significant results without the burnout, right? You're making meaningful progress each day. It's just enough to keep you excited to come back and do it again the next day. And it's not so much that you're exhausted and it feels like a heavy thing to do every single day. This also fits really well around a full-time job or other life commitments. I'm doing apps on the side. I'm running this community here, Launch Club, where I help people come up with an idea and launch an app in just 14 days. So I'm doing all these things, but I can just spend a couple hours a day working on them, which allows me to have still some balance in my life, right? And I can do it with a full-time job and still be successful in these things instead of working 20 hours a day and not sleeping. This approach also helps you maintain focus and freshness, which leads to better problem solving and long-term motivation, right? Because if you only have an hour or two a day to work on your app, you're probably pretty excited about it and wish you could do more. but you're going to be thinking about new ideas, ways to improve your, and I feel like the creative energy momentum just builds really well with a consistent practice like this. When working with AI, it's really important that you maintain control and don't let AI dictate everything. It's really easy to be tempted and say, hey, just build the entire app, make no mistakes, and hope for the best. But then you have no idea how your app's supposed to function. You have no idea what's going on inside the code, even if it's just a little bit. And there's endless bugs from that. It just doesn't work well. You want to be in the driver's seat with this. AI is really great for helping you think outside the box, be creative. You don't want it to dictate the entire show. You want to be in the driver's seat the whole time, spending time on your prompts, being very clear about what you want. So AI is just doing the work for you. Guiding AI ensures that the output aligns with your unique vision, avoiding generic or off-track results, right? If you're not putting your creative input and taste into your app's design, even if you have AI design it, then your app is going to look like every other AI designed app. And that's not what you want. You want to stand out. You want your personality in this app, or at least your taste. AI doesn't have the experience that you have. So you're going to be aware of things or have ideas for things AI might skip over. Human oversight adds creativity and personalization, right? So blending AI efficiency with your expertise is a level up versus just having AI run the show, because then you just get generic stuff that everyone else is doing. It also builds your skills and confidence in refining AI generated work. If you've never coded before and you're using AI to build an app, which you can totally do, I think it's so important that you're asking AI what it's doing each step of the way and learning from what it's building. Because when you're doing this, you're going to build a whole new skill, which is learning to code, which I think is still valuable. And you're going to have a better sense of how to find problems in your app over time and feel like you have more ownership over your product, right? Versus just something that AI went off and did. You'd be more attached to it, more involved in the process, and you can learn a lot when you stay in the driver's seat and have AI explain and teach you along the way. The last thing that I learned is that how important it is to embrace imperfection so you keep moving forward. We said that you need to get clear about your vision, but it doesn't mean you need all the answers. Accepting good enough allows for rapid iteration and turning rough drafts into refined products over time, right? Instagram, what it is today, is not how it looked when it first started. Neither did Airbnb or Facebook or TikTok or Twitter. If you go look at the early versions of these products, they looked almost nothing like what they look today, but they had to start somewhere, right? And so it's really important that you don't get caught up in the perfection stage of things, because then the chances are you're never going to get your app shipped, or it's going to take you way too long. You might lose some motivation, and life happens. It gets in the way, right? So it's easier if you stay focused on your core vision, just get something out the door, and then you'll also save so much time by using user feedback to drive the direction of your app versus just what's in your head. This also combats perfectionism, which can stall progress and lead to frustration and abandonment. And the other thing is imperfect starts foster learning through experimentation, making the process enjoyable and productive, right? So this includes user feedback, seeing what people actually want and how they expect to use your app for whatever problem you're solving. You're going to learn a lot about what you like and dislike through the iterative process instead of having it mapped out exactly perfect, because you're not going to ever have a final version from just the planning stage, right? There's so much you learn from building, so much you learn from iterating over things. Do I want this button red or blue? Do I want it big or small? How do I want the interactions to work? This is an iterative process that you'll learn from testing throughout each stage, spending time getting clear about your vision. We just want you to get something shipped. We want you to get started on that indie developer journey so that you can be making money. And once you make your first dollar, it's so rewarding if you were worried about your app being perfect. Focus on solving your problem, focus on your core magic moment, keep it simple, leverage your taste and experience throughout the process, spend time with your prompts, getting clear about what you want, and your product is going to ship faster, your momentum's going to build better, you're going to learn a lot, and you'll be making money so much quicker. If you want the full roadmap of building an iOS app with AI in just 14 days, check out my community App Launch Club. We've already got a group of builders building and shipping apps. Some are experienced developers, some are brand new to building apps, and they are successfully building their product with this roadmap. If this was helpful to you as you're starting your app, leave a like and comment below about what you're building. I read all of the comments and want to know what you're working on and how I can help. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.